All right. This ain't just a show. This is a platform. Veteran built, battle tested. Welcome to the Misfit Nation. Yeah! Mic in a room, built from boots on the ground. Now we breaking the rules. 2 vets, 1 leader, painting the sound. Turn scars into sermons, let them echo around. Authors with truth, musicians with fire. Actors backstage chasing something higher. Entrepreneurs bleeding just to get ahead. If you fought for your dream, yeah, you are what you said. If they told you no, if you still came back, if you fell to your knees but you stayed on track, this is your voice, this is your flame. Say it loud, remember the name. No salvation, just elevation. We rise again. From the fight to the end. We are the Misfit Nation. No damn labels, no damn cages. If you're still breathing, you belong. Turn it up. This is our song. Yeah. This is our song. Yeah. Veterans standing with ghosts in the chest. First responders running in while the world second guess. Gold star names carved deep in the soul. Your story ain't over, we carry the whole. Coaches teaching mindset, breaking the chains, turning barely alive into owning the pain. Truth over polish, scars on display. If it's real, let it bleed. That's the misfit play. If it's heavy right now, in the dark feels cold. If it's heavy right now, in the dark feels cold. If it's heavy right now, in the dark feels cold. It's Aubrey right now. We're the more than you know. 9888, don't walk alone. Veterans press 1, bring it home. Don't trade forever for tonight. You're still needed in this fight. We are the Misfit Nation, built from scars and dedication. We rise again. From the fire, from the fight to the end. We are the Misfit Nation. Every voice is fabrication. From the silence to the scream, we're strong. Welcome home, you belong. You belong. You belong. Oh wait, you. Oh wait, you belong.
All right. It's that time of night again. The Misfit Nation. It's the end of January. The cold has been testing you. The grind's been real, and tonight we break through all of it. This is where excuses melt. Momentum kicks in, and the fire comes back online. No winter slump. No slow roll. Just energy, grit, and the crew doing what they do best. You made it through the longest month of the year. Now it's time to shake it off, turn it up, and remind yourself why you started. So stomp your feet, warm up those hands, and get loud, cause the ice is breaking, the mics are quaking, and the Misfit Nation's ready! Here they come! Bring the heat, boys!
And good evening, Stephen.
How the hell are you? That sounded like a little bit of like a Willy Wonka thing going on there. The lights are breaking, it's just shaking.
I tell you what, he's spun up, ain't he?
He's wound up like a top time.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's probably been cooped up in the house with all the children.
Yeah. Yeah, probably driving them crazy.
Oh, yeah.
then he has to deal with us, and that's probably worse.
Well, yeah, it very well could be. What'd you have good to eat today on your day off?
Well, I made a little penne with vodka sauce and chicken for dinner.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Mm.
I made a homemade beef stew, and I am going to make a little later on the week. I'm going to make a rabbit pie.
Rabbit?
Yeah, it's just a pot pie made with rabbit.
Rabbit gamey? How was rabbit?
Oh, it's tame rabbit.
I'm asking,
Yeah.
is it gamey? Or is it like chicken?
No. This here's a tame rabbit. It's like chicken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't have to go out and hunt this one. I just went out and killed it. But unalived it there.
You looked at it and said dinner.
I looked at it and said dinner. And there's a lady down the road from us that is going to take a hide, and she's going to make me a hat with it.
Cool.
Yes, it is. You got anything special going on?
I have nothing special. I know Reach Across America, we've changed days. We're on to Saturdays now. So
Yeah, I saw that, and it's going to be at what, 5 p.m. Eastern?
correct. Yeah, so switching from Monday to Saturday. So if anybody's watching and listening over there, we changed days.
All right, and that is a little bit better time, because I tell you what, 3 Eastern on a Monday is sometimes that's kind of tough to listen to.
Yeah.
But since it'll be on 5 o'clock Eastern on Saturdays, and that'll be 4 o'clock for all you Central folks out there. Oh, soup, beans, and cornbread. That sounds good. That sounds good. Well, hey, tonight we've got a pretty interesting guest. Another guest that's an author. So you know what that means. It means that I'll be giving Mrs. Holland a list, and she will be ordering more books because that's what I do when we have authors on. I order their books. And tonight we're going to be talking to Richard Spegal, and it said he doesn't write fantasy to escape reality. He writes it to confront it. He's a U.S. Army veteran. He was active. Then he was in the Pennsylvania National Guard. He's an officer, and he's the author of dark, morally complex fiction. And what he says, he crafts worlds where choices matter, truth hides in the shadows, and transformation always comes at a cost. And his stories they reflect a life that has been shaped by his service, family, and a refusal to soften the hard edges of reality. And he said it, and the books that he wanted, the type of stuff he wanted to read really wasn't out there. So he started writing what he wanted to read. And he took the bull by the horns and did it. So without any further ado, let's get Richard in here.
Fantastic. Good evening, Richard. How are you?
Hello. Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, we are glad that you're here. We love authors. I don't know if you heard, I was telling Stephen, now I'm going to have to get Mrs. Holland I'll give her a list of books now, and she will start ordering books, because usually anytime if we have guests on and it looks like that their books will interest me, I order their books. And I am definitely, after looking through your website, I am definitely a fan of this genre. So it's going to be exciting, and I can't wait to get them. Richard, I gave about a 5-cent version of your biography and what you're doing and what you've done. Why don't you fill in the other 95 cents for us, and we'll get this thing kicked off.
Well, first, I want to say, during your intro, during the music, you had a clip for Gold Star families. And I really like that. A lot of people don't know what that means. If my mother had seen that, she would have been thrilled, just because her brother died in Vietnam. And not a lot of people know what the whole Gold Star means. And I don't know. I'm sorry. I just love the fact that I saw that in your intro. It really meant a lot.
Well, appreciate it. That really means a lot that you mentioned that, because that's kind of our thing here. Veterans, Gold Star families, prevention of veteran suicide, and just
Of course,
a
first
little bit of a
responders.
backstory. The way we started off was veterans coming on to kind of tell their story, how they dealt with adversity after they got out of the military or back from deployment or whatever. And then people started asking, hey, can you get some authors on there? How do I become an author? Can you get some people who's dealt with movies, or artists, or life coaches, fitness coaches? Can you get these people on here and get them to talk about how they got to where they are today, so we can get into this? And that's kind of how we've evolved, and it has gone in a great direction. We're definitely going up. But thank you for mentioning the Gold Star. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I went into the 82nd Airborne Division right out of high school. So straight up active duty. I left them after a few years and a couple deployments, but I missed being in the military. So I went back into the National Guard because it was a nice little compromise between being in the service and raising a family, especially in Pennsylvania, because the Bloody Bucket is a pretty well-known National Guard, unit. So
I supported them once myself in Kosovo in the early 2000s.
Yep. Yeah. We, after a couple of deployments with them, then I finally got medically discharged. So I officially retired last year in February.
All right. Now, you didn't say what your job was in the military. Were you an infantryman?
Well, in the very beginning, I was enlisted. I was 11 Bravo 1 Papa, because I was a paratrooper.
Yes.
When I came back into the National Guard, I was an officer. We were in tanks for a while, and then we switched over to infantry. I ended up retiring as a captain.
Well, good deal. And thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. We definitely love our veterans here on this show. And I must say, when I was going over show notes and doing a little bit of research on you and stuff, I mentioned to Mrs. Holland that you wrote books about vampires, and her eyes got about this big, because we are very fond of vampires in this house. And we are very eager to hear about your story. Matter of fact, I got two of your. First of all, how did you get into writing? Let's just start right there.
Oh, I've been writing off and on since high school. I ended up taking it seriously when I realized that the stuff that I wanted to read didn't exist. So I kind of had to write it for myself. And for a while, it was just for me. I was writing a lot, but it was for me, not for other people. And then back in 2022, when we went to Egypt, I saw that I was going to have all this free time. So I felt like, you know what, let me give it a shot. Let me try to get this stuff published. And then once I let the genie out of the bottle, I couldn't put it back in. And then I've been writing and publishing ever since.
That's amazing. And, I do good to string two words together when I'm talking, let alone trying to write them down. And Stephen normally makes fun of me for that.
Well, I was going to say, you'd start writing like page one, like, hi, my name's Jake, and then 2 or 3 be blank because you're buffering. Then 4, I live here.
And so how did you get into, vampires
Well, for the vampire side, I've always been a fan. I read a lot of Anne Rice when I was younger.
Okay.
But the thing is, ever since her, there hasn't been anybody. It's been a lot of nonsense for children, and I'm not a kid. I want entertainment for a grown up, and that wasn't out there. So I started writing it.
Awesome. Now, can you settle an argument for me and Mrs. Holland?
Okay.
Do real vampires sparkle?
No.
Oh, thank you.
No.
Thank you. Thank you.
When we went to the movies, my girlfriend at the time, we didn't know anything about Twilight. We just knew it was some vampire thing. So we went to the movies. It was like a 10 o'clock showing. There was nobody in the theater. And after like the first like 30 minutes, we were just doing nothing but shouting at the screen. Like it was horrible. Oh my God.
Now I kind of do like the storyline of it, where they bring in the werewolves into it, because that goes into a lot of the older lore of it in some of the stories. If I'm sure that if you're familiar with the genre, you're familiar with the underworld saga and all that, how the werewolves play into it and everything. But enough about that. Tell us about your books.
Well, if we're talking about the vampire stuff, I try to focus on realism and adult entertainment. So, like, the main characters are married. They're ancient vampires. They're married, and they just want to be left alone. And it just simply doesn't work out that way. And in the first book, they have to deal with the Catholic Church. There's werewolves in that book. I kind of added werewolves only because I needed an antagonist that would actually put up a good fight, since my protagonists were pretty powerful. And then as it goes into the second book, they start to learn what they really are. And I kind of go in my own direction with vampires. I don't think it's been done before, at least with anything I've ever read. And then those two books are just the prequel to a science fiction series that I'm going to start publishing in about a couple of months.
Okay. All right. And that's going right. That's going right down my alley. I'm a big fan of science fiction and doing that. So that's your vampire books. And then you got some other books out there as far as I'm getting them pulled up right now, but that's your
Wolves and Ravens.
The Wolves and Ravens, yes. And that's what a 3-book series?
Trilogy, yeah.
Trilogy?
Well, with the science fiction takes a lot of research to do correctly. So in between, I decided to start writing a fantasy trilogy, Wolves and Ravens. And I ended up having a lot of fun with it. So I cranked out those 3 books in about a year and a half. I like I said, I had a lot of fun with it. It was great. It's dark fantasy. Again, adult audiences and things like that. And it was a great way to kind of fill that time while I was researching for the science fiction.
Okay. And I'm glad you mentioned researching science fiction. I hate reading science fiction that it looks like the author just kind of mailed it in on certain aspects of it. If they're going to do something, even though it's fiction, it ought to at least sound plausible.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know about your thoughts on that, Stephen. I don't know if you're a
it's
science
always good
fiction.
to have that. Yeah. I don't like it, way far out BS when the science fiction. Yeah.
Oh, no. Not at all. So, if it's okay to ask, how does this jump from vampires into science fiction gonna Can you give us kind of a little bit of how that's going to work?
So basically, like I said, the first two books are a prequel. And in the book Origins, they find out what they are. And they also find out what might be coming in the future. And the main characters, the married couple, they decide they're going to try to fight. They're going to try to stand up and defend the human race, basically.
Okay.
But they don't know when it's going to happen. Well, the main series takes place 1,300 years in the future where it happens.
Okay.
And they have to stand up and do what they promised to do. But they're also very different people because at this point, they're over 2,000 years old.
Yeah. And I got that kind of reading the intro to the book. They got turned on their wedding night. So they took this till death do us part. That's going to be a long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I try to do the best I can to be as realistic as possible. So I take these characters and when we talk about the science fiction series where they're over 2,000 years old, and I try to be as realistic as possible. And 2,000 years old, they don't give a crap anymore. They're just so old, and they just assume they know better than everyone. And yeah, they're going to try to help and fight back and defend the human race, but it's on their terms. And if people don't agree with them, then they're just going to let them burn. And these are the protagonists. They're not very nice people, but that's just because of what they've grown into.
Exactly. Now, are these, I don't know how to put it. Are these the traditional Bram Stoker vampires, or did you kind of pull from maybe more of a Blade-esque type vampire, or, which type are they?
No, I went in a completely different direction. And it doesn't really get revealed too much until the main series, because a lot of people, what they don't do, they don't tackle what vampires are. They just let them exist. And unfortunately, like I said, I deal in realism. So my characters are intelligent people. They want to know what they are. And after they battle with the Catholic Church and they decide that we're not demons, the first question they ask is, well, what are we? So they have to examine their own bodies and they have to figure things out. And I have to figure out scientific explanations for blood-sucking monsters who are immortal. And it's not an easy thing to figure out, but the characters are obviously going to ask these questions. So they figure things out about themselves and their own bodies as the story progresses, book by book.
Okay. All right.
So they're growing with you as you're reading. So that's good. I like that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing your research and everything, and it will explain it good, and it'll keep the reader interested. Now, do these two, do they have people that they have turned as well?
Well, they have in the prequel, the two books that are out there, they have a family of over 100 minions. They call them ghouls and stuff like that. They do start turning their own vampires. In the main series that takes place with science fiction stuff, it's a much smaller family, but they're all vampires.
Yep. Okay. All right. And what about, other than the Catholic Church, they probably still have to deal with the persecution of the normal populace as well, correct?
By the time they introduce themselves, nobody knows what a vampire is anymore. It's the 34th century. So they introduce themselves and they're just like a new, wow, what are these things kind of situation.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'm already starting to like this. Yeah, I'm excited to. I'm kind of excited to get this. Hey, ToosDay Crüe, if you're out there, if you have any questions for Richard, feel free to jump in the chat and get those on here. And remember, while you're out there, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll get you up there and become a member of the Misfit Nation. So I'm just trying to think. I had a whole list of questions that written down that I was going to ask, and it has somehow left my table. Probably thanking my Cane Corso for that. But you just started this out in your spare time, like when you was in high school. It come up on through the military. Now, do you draw from your time in the military and your time deployed? Do you use that in any of your writing?
That does help in some places, especially for the Eternal Night series, because it takes place in like the normal world. So it helps me with like equipment, weapon systems, when people are fighting, like formations and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of battles, especially like even in the first book, there's a lot of fights. But my military experience helps with knowing what to say, the weapon systems that they're using, things like that, just to make it more realistic. And even when it goes into the science fiction side, it's still military. It's just advanced. So the military experience still helps. Like with the Wolves and Ravens, that's very fantasy, so it doesn't help as much there. But with the Eternal Nights, yeah, my military experience does kind of like play a part in that.
Okay. All right. I think we actually have a question.
We have a question. That's pretty much what we were just talking about. Ed Hurl again wants to know, how did your military service influence the dark themes and moral weights in your writing? Thank you for that question, Hurl. Yeah.
I would say that the military experience helps to remove the pretense. My writing is for, a more mature audience. I don't just focus on like the physical battlefield, but also the psychological, because nobody's immune to stress. So my characters get stressed out and they suffer for it. And as the audience is able to read, they see that suffering, and it gets pretty bad up to like psychological breaks. In Wolves and Ravens, that it goes as far as like crucifixions and suicide and stuff like that. I don't shy away from that darker side of like mentality.
Okay. Awesome.
Nina Barnes wants to know, I know you said your writing targets adults, but does it target more for the men, since women tend to have lots of fantasy type books?
I never really thought about it that way. My protagonists, I mean, we've got men and women there. I think both would be very happy with it. A lot of when I look at the feedback that I get personally, a lot of the feedback I get are from female readers, mainly because the female characters in my books are the ones that drive the plot. They also suffer the most. So a lot of the female readers tend to like relate a little bit more.
Okay. Now I know you have a married couple in your book, but in your books. But now, is there how much of a romance factor do you put into your books?
I think there's a decent amount of romance. It's just it's mature romance.
Okay.
There's a difference between a married couple's romance and, let's say, a high school love triangle. It's a different kind of romance.
Yeah.
And if you've been in a long-term relationship, or if you've been married, you're going to see the romance all over the place. And then in Wolves and Ravens, it's like a forbidden romance kind of deal. So it's definitely in there.
Okay. All right. All right. More questions.
Yes, yes. Salvatore Espo 87 wants to know what pushed you to create fantasy stories specifically for adult readers. Was this something you always thought of writing about, or just something you liked?
The biggest part of that is that I'm crazy. So I live in I live in these fake worlds, and I spend so much time in them, and that's kind of why I got medically discharged, actually. But I I spend more time in these places than I spend in the real world, and I know these characters as well as I know my own children, and I'm basically just writing down what I see. When in the fantasy genre, that was just something that, like I said, I built it out of a short story that I wrote, and I fell in love with it, and I went crazy with it. But it was all it's just this stuff in my head. I can't make it stop, so I may as well write it down.
Now, do you put bits of yourself and your family into your stories?
I'm sure that there's parts of me all over the place, but I actively try to not do that, because a lot of especially when you look at the entertainment industry these days, it's garbage. My characters are not a mouthpiece for me. They're the characters in the story. And I'm sure that, like me as a writer, I'm sprinkled in all over the place, but they don't talk for me. They talk for themselves.
Okay.
And that's how it plays out. Like, my characters are very opinionated, but they're not my opinions. They're the opinions the characters have. I just write for entertainment. I want people to just be entertained and to enjoy the stories and to love the stories. I'm not trying to have a political message or some other message. No, it's just for entertainment. That's all it is.
Awesome. I wish more artists thought like you. That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Bama Sucks is checking in again this evening.
Bama Sucks 9 wants to know, are you a writer who is traditionally published or self-published, and why? Thank you for that.
In the middle. That's actually kind of a big question. In modern times, if you don't know someone, you're not getting traditionally published. That's just the way it is. You have to know somebody, because traditional publishers will not accept submissions unless they're from somebody they know or from an agent. So you either have to go completely self-published, or you have to go somewhere in between. And kind of like, for me, I'm kind of in the middle. Like, my publisher does a whole lot of things for me, which is great, but it's not a traditional publisher.
Okay. And traditional publishing, I would imagine, costs a lot of money.
Well, the idea, traditional publishing doesn't cost anything. They pay you.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, they pay you, but they are making that investment on something.
Yeah, and they will not, like 20 years ago, you could submit your work and a traditional publisher would look at it. That's not the way it is anymore. You have to either have an agent, or you have to know someone, or you have to be famous. If you're just some guy who's writing, or some gal who's writing something, well, you're screwed. You're on your own. You have to find a self-publisher. You got to do it completely on your own. That's just the way it is. And it's been that way for many years.
All right. And more questions.
Yes. And Love Dem Boobies wants to know, how do you balance service, family life, and the discipline required to write consistently? Thank you, Love Dem Boobies.
Well, I can't. That's why I got discharged from the service, because I can't separate these things. it helps me to write great work, but if you're a member of my family, it's not good. My wife is a trooper. She does what she can to keep me grounded, to keep me paying attention to the real world. Like, look, you haven't eaten in 3 days. You have to eat. You have to bathe. You know, your kids need to get picked up. I mean, I'm completely out of sync with the real world because I spend all my time in these other worlds. And like I said, it's great for the realism of the story, but it's horrible if you're a member of my family.
I completely understand. Yeah, that can definitely take a lot away from the family. Now, let's go into science fiction a little bit, because I really love science fiction. Tell us a little bit, just pick us something that's popular in science fiction and how long it takes you to research making faster than light travel. You know, how long would you have to research that to make whatever I'm doing with faster than light travel seem plausible?
Not at all. Not very long at all. You basically, with science fiction, a lot of the stuff, it's all been done already.
Oh, okay.
All the different ways it's just been done. I mean, they've been doing it. I mean, since before I was born, authors were writing this stuff. So you basically just pick what you want to use for your stories and you just make it work. I went with hyperspace.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just, whatever. I came up with that. A lot of the books that I've read had hyperspace. Then you've got a lot of other weird stuff, but hyperspace worked for the universe that I'm building, so I just went with that.
Okay. All right. That works it. That'll work it. All right. Another question in here.
Wasn't actually a question, more than a comment. And Sleepy Hollow says it will cost at least $3,000 for an editor. You have to hire an agent who you must pay up front. So it costs more to traditional publish than use Amazon or Ingram Sparks. A lot less.
Oh, okay.
More of a statement than it was a question.
Editing costs a lot. I don't do that anymore. I edit my own work. And then hiring an agent, if you were going to do something like that, that's also, the thing is, it's not that simple because the agent has to want to take your work. So you can submit your work to like 50 agents and all 50 of them could simply ignore you. It's not as simple as simply hiring somebody. But that comment about it is cheaper to simply go through Amazon and Ingram Sparks with like a self-publisher or somebody in the middle, like what I'm doing. I'm having great results and I didn't have to do any of that upfront stuff.
Okay. All right. So what would your advice be for somebody that, hey, I'm new to writing. I've got 600 pages here that I just wrote. I want to get it published. You know, what's your advice to them?
I would say do it yourself, figure it out, and just don't give up. I've been beating my head against this wall for over 15 years, and I've only been successful in the last 6 months. You know, it's not easy. The professional industry is going to hate everything you do because that's just the way the professional industry is right now. We don't want original work. Everything has to be a remake or a redo or whatever. So if you're doing something that's creative and original, you're on your own. Find a company that's going to do it for you. You're going to have to pay for it. And then just market on your own. You're on your own. Just don't give up. And just keep doing it. And you'll be all right.
Okay.
That's
So
90% of your music out right now, and most of the movies are all remakes.
Exactly.
Everybody copies
yes.
everybody. Nobody can make their own damn music anymore.
And professionals, they're not any profession. If you think about it, when you graduate college, you're like 21, 22 years old. In the last 15 years, everything has been terrible. Well, when you look at that 21, 22, you add 15 years to that, anybody under the age of 40 is not qualified to review original work because there hasn't been any.
Mm-hmm.
They're just doing the remakes and the redos that we're talking about. That's all they've done. They don't have the experience to understand what original creative work is.
Yes. Yeah. I went down a list of movies. Me and my wife we were going to watch some movies, and we watch a lot of independent films, because if you watch stuff that's coming out of the major production companies, none of it's original. It's a remake, and we're old enough that it's stuff that we watched when we were kids.
Exactly.
and now we're watching a remake of it.
And it all fails, and they keep doing it anyway.
Yeah, because people will.
How many times can you redo Willy Wonka? Think about it. How many times has Willy Wonka been done? At least 3 now, if not more.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
true.
the abomination that they're doing with the Wizard of Oz, but I won't get into that.
Right.
Another question.
You want my attention? Remake Blazing Saddles. Anyway, I have another question coming in. Ed Addicted to Jane wants to know, why do you think stories that explore uncomfortable truths resonate so deeply with readers?
Because modern media doesn't want to do it, but the audience is looking for that type of realism. It's more than just the physical, like what the hero sees and what they do and things like that. Nobody's immune to stress. Even the protagonists, they suffer from what they're doing, and there's a psychological element to that nobody wants to put into media, either because they don't know how or they're afraid to. But when they do it, it resonates with the audience because they want to see that realism. And I shove that realism right in people's face.
Yeah, and just going by the description of your books and the review that I read, it is very, very morally dark. I'm not even going to ask you how you go there, because that's, yeah. that would be hard for me to get my brain wired to write something like that, and then go sit down and have supper with my family after the day is done. You got to have some way to shut that off.
Yeah, so I know when I wrote Origins, I actually thought that I wouldn't be allowed to publish it because I thought I went too far. The publisher, they loved it. They were like, "Hey, this is great, whatever." I thought that I went so far over the line that I wouldn't be allowed to put it into writing. And it just, like I said, I want to be as realistic as possible. And, I'm a victim in some of these areas, so I know what I'm talking about when I put it down on paper and things like that. It's one of the reasons why I got discharged, and that's why it's so realistic. Sometimes I do have to take a step back, though, because what I'm writing hits too close to home. I have to shut everything down, and I need to kind of decompress for a little bit before I get back into it.
Okay. Yeah, and I totally understand that. Yeah, shutting that off, because you could be in the zone and be sitting at supper and, you know, traumatize your kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
All righty, we got another question.
All righty.
At Corner Worker Local 14 wants to know, what do you hope readers walk away with after finishing your books? That's a good question.
I just want people to be entertained. I want people to be emotionally attached. I want the immersion to be total when they're reading. But at the end of the day, like I said in the very beginning, I have no message. I have no political message. It's just for entertainment. I just want people to be able to enjoy something and love it, and that be the end of it.
Okay.
You know, what I kind of got out of that is, do your books leave people waiting to see what the next one is going to be, or is every book final? You know,
I always leave. I always leave like a clear cliffhanger, so to speak. So yeah, I definitely want people to see that. Yeah.
Now, do you at least put an excerpt out of the next book at the end of it, so we kind of know what we're getting into?
No, only because that's just not the way this publisher works.
Okay.
Everything kind of got relaunched at the same time, and then none of like the books that I have waiting to get published, they don't have them yet, so they don't have a lot of like there's stuff from the previous books, but not stuff from future books.
Okay. Okay, Stephen, let's do one more question here. Then I think we're going to start to kind of wind down a little bit.
You got a boss man. At Pharmacist for the People wants to know, if you could sit on a panel speaking to inspiring authors, what would your 45-second pitch be to them? Thank you for that question, Pharmacist for the People.
That's I kind of covered a lot of that already. Just not give up. Find a company that's going to do what you need them to do. Figure out your own marketing, figure out your own distribution. Just don't stop trying. Just keep beating your head against that wall, and eventually it's going to crack.
All right.
The wall, your head.
Well, hopefully the wall, but you never know.
Okay.
All right, we got a few more questions for you here. One of them is going to be, how can people contact you or get your books?
My website is richardspeagal.com. The publisher went all out. All of my books have movie trailers for each book. There's a lot of behind the scenes videos and everything. They went crazy with the website. I love what they did. Like I said, richardspeagal.com. You can get my books through that website, or of course you can just go directly to Amazon. My Instagram is at Richard Speagal Books. There's a lot of content there as well. But again, that content comes from the website. The website's awesome.
Okay. And that was the first time I'd ever seen a video trailer for a book. And yeah, that's definitely a different way to push books. They did an amazing job. Yes. Yes, he did. Or they did. Okay, now it's time to kind of put you on the hot seat a little bit, if you don't mind. I'm going to ask you, it's a question in 3 parts that we ask all of our guests. And it depends on if you're on Tuesdays or Thursdays, or or Sundays or Thursdays, or if you're on Tuesdays. So you're going to get the Tuesday version of this question. And we need to know 3 non-negotiables from Richard that you have to do every day or your day's not complete.
Wow. Not 3 non-negotiables. Well, got to wake up. Does that count?
Yeah, that counts.
I got to
Waking
wake
up
up.
always is a plus.
I'm always checking my writing for number 2. And then number 3 is taking care of everybody when they get home. But again, that's just because of my wife. My wife makes sure that happens.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to have that good, strong support system out there. I know if I didn't have Mrs. Holland, I don't know where I would be, because yeah, she definitely keeps me lined up.
Yes.
So
Sir.
we have wake up, write every day, and take care of the household. Well, Richard, thank you very much for coming on here this evening. It was quite the chat, and it was a subject that I really like. I'm very interested in. I'm gonna get on there, get those books ordered, and see where it takes us. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right.
And
thank you.
yeah, and one more thing before we go, Misfit Nation, remember, as always, life would not be near as good tomorrow without you in it. If you're feeling down, if you're slipping into the darkness, get on that telephone, dial 988. If you're a veteran, take option 1. The folks there will get you the help that you need. If you don't want to make that call, feel free to contact any of us here at the Misfit Nation, Stephen at the Misfit Nation, info at the Misfit Nation, or Jake at the misfitnation.com, and drop your number. We will get with you, and we will do our best to get you the help that you need. With that being said, Richard, thank you again. Look forward to reading your books. Folks, we've given you the website to get the books, and get on there, give an author some support, and I'm sure he just wants you to be entertained. And after reading the excerpts of some of them, you will be entertained. You will definitely be entertained.
Oh, definitely. I have that feeling.
Now, Stephen, can you read them even though they don't have pictures?
Yeah. I can have somebody translate it to me, sing it to me or something.
Hey, I'll read it. I'll read it to you on audiobook. How's that?
Oh God. Yeah, sure.
Yes, go ahead.
Real quick. I love what you said at the end there, and I just want to kind of add to it. There are people out there that they're feeling the way they feel, and there is places to go for help, and that 988 number, don't be afraid of it. If that's what you need, like, I don't know how to say it, but you're right, and I want people to get help if they need it.
Well, yeah, thank you for putting that in there. And yeah, we are all about helping people, because it's truly an epidemic. And if we can help just one person through this podcast, we have completed our mission statement. So yes, that's what we want to do.
This is why we reach out every week. Every week we pledge it to them. If you have problems, if you don't want to talk to them, call us. Get in touch with us.
Yes. Well, hey, that wraps it up for this evening. Richard, thank you again. Best of luck to you. I hope you sell 1 million copies.
I hope so too.
And keep writing.
and keep writing. Misfit Nation, ToosDay Crüe, we love you. We will see you again Thursday.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.